Hi, this is Brandon. Have you ever wondered how to get good topology that's ready for animation in the face? Because this ain't it. Today we're going to retopologize this punk ZBrush sculpt with quad draw in Maya. We'll cover how to use quad draw, the importance of the 5 basic edge loops in the face, and how to create proper facial geometry ready for games and animation. Once we get the initial edge loops in, they can be tricky to connect, so stick around, I'll show you how. So let's not waste any more time and get right to the bare bones of it. All right, so the first thing we need to do is import our model. Easiest way to do this is just grab, drag and drop. All right, now I've exported this out of ZBrush with all of these subtools being separate. I have a video showing how to do that, and there's a link in the description. That looks like everything came over as it should. And because these are separate, what I can do is I can put all of these separate pieces into layers. And over here in the bottom right-hand corner, in the layers panel, this very far icon says create new layer and assign selected objects. If I click on that, whatever's selected will automatically be put into a layer. It builds a layer and adds it to it. It's great. Double click on it. You can rename it. Now, just so you know, the namespace can't share anything else in the Maya scene. So I'm gonna have to rename this something different. Lowercases work. All right, I'm just gonna continue to rename all of these, build new layers. All right, very nice. So again, what's really nice about this is that I can hide anything that I need to if it gets in the way when I'm working. So the way quad draw works is we essentially need to select an object, some existing mesh, and then we're going to build new geometry over the top of it. We're basically going to shrink wrap geo on the top of it so that we can have good animatable geometry instead of, this kind of heavy, dense garbage here. This isn't game ready, right? First thing you want to do is select the model piece you want to work with. And then we need to go up here and there's this little icon. It's this horseshoe magnet. Click on that. And it looks like nothing happens. It looks like you deselected it. Well, if I show the wireframe, then it lights up as green. And even when I click off of it. So that's how I know it's made live. That's the term Autodesk uses. It's made live. Now let's go ahead and hide everything else other than the head. Now there's 2 ways to bring up quad draw itself. We can go to Mesh Tools and hit quad draw, or we can open the modeling toolkit over here and quad draw is in this bottom right-hand corner. Click on that. And if you notice out here, it can't do anything, but on the model, this little crosshair shows up. And if I click, it'll make a dot. It's technically a vertice, actually. I can make 2, not much happening. I can make 3, make 4. Now we can start to do something. So if I hold down Shift, it'll kind of pre-outline this square in the middle of these. And then if I hold down Shift while clicking, it makes a quad. And this quad is actual geometry. When I first learned about quad draw, I thought for some reason I had to convert it to something, or when I saved it, it wouldn't be real geometry. Now this is real actual geometry. Once you click out of it, you're good to go. So the basics here is make dots, turn dots into squares, right? So let's get going with it. All right, I need to have at least one face present. So let's build another one and then we can delete that. So if I hold down Control Shift, it'll highlight it and I get a little X by my cursor and click on it and it's gone. Now let's start by building an edge loop around the eyes. I can continue doing this and this works quite well. I can also grab and drag an edge. I can drag a vertice, kind of put this where I like it. I can also do, so if I hold down Control, I can add an edge loop anywhere on either direction. So if I click on that, that'll add a nice little edge loop in there for me. Can move these around as well. Something else to note real fast. When I activate quad draw down over here in the modeling toolkit, there's this little drop down, this keyboard mouse shortcut. So you might have to scroll down to see it. But if I click this drop down, it shows a bunch of shortcuts. Those are all worth checking out. One of them, if I hold down Tab, select an edge, left click and pull out, I can extrude an edge out of that. And I can do this again and again and again, which can speed this process up by quite a bit. Also, if I grab a vertice and move it to another one, it will weld to that vertice. See that little kind of 2 arrows pointed together makes an hourglass kind of icon there. That's how you know it's actually welded. Sometimes it'll get close and won't actually hit. So just watch for that icon change. And my best advice, honestly, when working with quad draw is start with larger polygons. If the polygons are too small, they're hard to manage, they're hard to move around, and you can always make them larger later. Okay, let's split these up. Personally, I like to have 8 quads when I start an edge loop. I think it's just a good even number to start with. I've got the same on top that I do on bottom. Easy to keep track of, because once I connect things, if I want to draw something straight through it, having 8, I know that it's going to continue down through no matter how many more I add later on. Looks like some horror movie sunglasses here. Out of the 5 essential edge loops, this was our first. Now the second one is going to be kind of a mask going around the eyes. Sometimes I will make a long polygon and then just stretch pieces out. That can kind of speed things up as well. Now to begin with, to make sure I get all the right edge loops going, I don't want to merge these yet. So even it's trying, it wants to, not yet. You're jumping the gun. Don't merge this yet, okay? Hold Tab, pull this out, shape it up, Tab, pull it out, Tab, pull it out. Now these I am going to connect. The second edge loop is a mask that goes around the eyes entirely. All right, so I'm feeling kind of spunky. I can even add a little more geo in here. So let's grab Tab and pull this down and connect this up. Now see, this didn't connect, so let's make sure there we go, nice and connected. Now I know I'm going to need something across the center here. So let's hold down Control and add an edge loop there. And we're getting the basics started here. Let's not connect these, but move on to the next set. I can probably delete this here. So Control-Shift-Click, Control-Shift-Click, because this will end up matching up with those. We want to stay simple. I don't want too many polygons in here. I want to stay as bare bones as possible, right? Stay as minimal as possible in the beginning. I promise it will help. The temptation is to put lots of little pieces in here and get all, no, don't do that. I promise it'll be a much easier process. This is kind of essentially like a block out. Okay, this is edge loop 3. Again, this is why I say start with 8. 8's just a good number to get going with, right? So start with 8, don't overcomplicate it. Keeps it simple. All right, now with his mouth in here, a little tricky, but we can work with this. Again, what's nice is sometimes you just need to get the polygon down and then you can kind of move it around, right? And for a minute, it's gonna look like a sad clown, right? It's gonna look like some sad clown art, but promise, won't stay that way forever. The next edge loop we need is gonna start up around the nose and go down around the mouth. Hit Tab, pull this out. Do it again, hit Tab, pull this out. Okay. Now with these, I want to make sure to try and keep these edges lined up roughly as much as possible. You can always add more later. If you overcomplicate it, it's going to get hard. Even if it doesn't look correct to begin with, you know, these will match up, these will match up. I promise it'll help to just block it out, start slow, and don't connect them yet. Also, we want these to be thick. We want thick polygons. They're easier to work with. They're easier to move around. I can always hit Control and we can add edge loops this way, but also I can put an edge loop in here. I can do again and again and again and get as many in here as I need to once I'm ready. But don't do it yet. Let's add one here to match up with that. Build this up over here a little bit. In the beginning, this is just laying stuff out, kind of pushing things around. I'm going to bring this down to about the bottom of the chin. This I don't want to go all the way down the nose, just maybe about to here. Put this kind of in the crevice of the nostril here. Get this close, but don't connect it. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 edge loops. The 5th essential edge loop goes around from the forehead down under the chin, kind of like a chin strap. So let's start up here. The reason we have these specific edge loops is they actually mimic the muscles running in the face, right? These muscles exist running around our eyes and our mouth. There's even one that does run. There's one that runs from the chin up and over the nose. And as animation happens, as movement happens, these edge loops are meant to mimic the muscle movements that we have when we have expressions and talk and move our faces. Grab Tab, pull it out, wrap this around. Even bring this down a little lower. Yeah, let's do that. Tab, pull it out. Let's go out here to match up with this. Tab, pull it out. And now I'm going to connect these. Click, click. All right. Put this up out here, and we need one there to match up with those. Right. Again, don't connect them yet. There's that. There's that. This one in the middle. All right, there we have it. Here are our first 5 essential edge loops on our sad clown artwork. And we'll continue to stitch this together in the next video. That's about the bare bones of the 5 essential edge loops for the face. I'll see you in part 2.